Hello everyone, I'm Nick. I'm the grower and plant health specialist here at Royal City Nursery, and today I'm going to be talking to you about dormant pruning your trees. Specifically, you want to do this for fruit trees or really any tree that you want to do a structural pruning for, where you're taking off large amounts of foliage. So right now it's about the middle of February. It's a little early to be doing this. You want to do this kind of right when the plants are about to start growing. So it needs to be before the leaves are out. So when the plants are still dormant. So that way you're not cutting off any of the active energy reserves. But for now, we're just going to clean up this tree a little and teach you guys about what pruning cuts to make. You can prune a tree for a variety of reasons. The first one that I would look for would be the health of the tree. So you look for any diseased tissue, any dead branches, anything broken, all of that you can take off immediately. So going through, looks like this tree looks great. Our landscapers do a great job of keeping our property tidy. So I don't see any diseased or dead branches. But if you have a tree or that's struggling with black knot, now would be the time to cut that out. You can actually see it much easier now that the leaves aren't on the branches. And if you do have black knot, say there, you do want to cut around 6 to 8 inches below the knot. And then you want to burn the branch. Make sure you're not composting it. Burn it or seal it in a garbage bag, throw it out. So make sure those spores can't get out to reinfest any of your other trees. So once you've gone through the tree, made sure you have no sick or dead branches. So that'd be any branches that don't have any bark left on them. Then you can go through and improve the structure of your tree. So especially as your trees are beginning in their younger years, you want to make sure that you're pruning to kind of set them up with a good structure for their life going forwards. So when we're looking at this crabapple tree here, I see a couple different things that we need to correct with pruning. So first of all, if you look up here, these two branches are crossing. So any branches that cross like that, they're going to rub together in the wind and they're going to rub off the bark, and it's going to be a site where disease and pests can enter your tree. So I'm going to take off this smaller branch and leave the bigger branch of the two. And I'm going to take it off right at the base. Again, blade side towards the tree, taking off as much as I can with a nice clean cut, and then dispose of your cut things properly. So on top of any branches, again, you can see here, these two are crossing over each other, just like that. Eventually, once those branches get big, they're going to start to cause damage. So I'm going to take off the smaller one. So now that we've gone through and we've got all of our cross branches off, the next thing, and this pertains more to fruit trees like this crabapple, but for some types of trees, it is still relevant. For fruit trees specifically, you want to take off our water spouts. So those are any branches that have shot up vertically from one of your main branches. So these guys are going to go all the way up through your canopy and kind of ruin the natural shape of your tree. Especially important for fruit trees, which you want to stay low and spreading so that you can actually access your fruit. So because this is a fruit tree, what we're going to do, anything vertical can come off just like that. You see here a little branch crossing over, tidied that up as well. So now this branch, other than this guy, is perfect. You can see we've got branches coming out the sides. These are going to continue to grow and keep budding out, and we have a good structure that's not going to interfere with the tree in the future. So outside of that, we can look at light penetration. So if you have a really big bushy tree, you can take off large branches or very dense sections to allow more airflow into the tree, allow more light to penetrate. And that can give you a more attractive canopy and also help prevent a lot of disease issues, as well as pests. So another thing that you're going to want to prune with your trees are any small shoots that are coming out from the stem. These are very young branches, and we already have multiple branches going off and kind of filling in this face of the tree. So this little branch is just going to kind of create leaves inside that aren't going to get a lot of light. They're going to kind of be a drain on the tree, and they're not going to look great. So you can cut those off so the tree can focus on growing the actual branches that it wants. Same here, some more small interior branches, some vertical branches, cleaning those up, and then you're left with a nice spreading canopy. And so just to show you guys an example of some of the downstream ramifications of this pruning, you can see here on this tree, while we do have this one branch coming up, that's our leader, it's competing with multiple others. So this is great for a fruit tree where you want a nice wide top. But let's say, however, this was a maple tree, this right here is a very big point of weakness. Because once these two branches get really big, there's going to be a ton of weight pulling on them, pulling them apart, and there's very little tissue in that crotch between the branches that's actually going to hold them together. So once you have a very large tree, that's going to be, you see it often where half of the tree will fall and split off and the other half will stay standing. And it's best to avoid that as early as possible. So again, while this may not be true for fruit trees or other specialty trees, you usually want to leave it so that there's only one branch going up in the center. And that's going to be the leader, and that's going to be the main trunk of your tree. And so 5-10 years ago, when we were first growing these trees, again, if they were not fruit trees, it would have been advantageous to cut off this branch here and allow the single leader to take over. And you would have had a much stronger tree structure with that. So that just goes to show you the importance of doing these kind of dormant pruning and structural prunings, especially when a tree is small, because those branches that are there when the tree is small are going to be the limbs and the trunk of the tree when it's larger. For example, if you did have a young fruit tree and it was just growing a single stem, what you would want to do is cut that stem where you want it to start branching from. Because you can tell this tree here, when it was originally being grown, the grower cut it right here. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 branches grew from under that spot. So if you had a fruit tree and you wanted to be able to still be able to reach the fruit and pick it yourself, you'd want to do that cut around chest height. So then it's going to branch out and you're going to be able to get under the trees and still pick the fruit from them and still give it room to grow up and above. And so that's really the only time you would want to cut that leader on a tree. It's going to halt the growth. Specifically, it's going to stop auxin, producing auxins, which is going to allow the cytokinins to take over, and you're going to get more branches to grow. And that's going to happen right below where you make that cut. So be very, very conscious and forward thinking about how tall you want your tree to be before you make that cut, because it is permanent. So, but that's again only for trees that you would want to keep short or ones that you would want to branch more to make a wider form. So generally it's usually best to prune these branches as early as possible, because all the energy that the tree used to grow this branch that we're then going to cut off could have been used to grow a branch in a more valuable spot of the tree. Again, another reason is that larger wounds take longer to heal. So there's a greater susceptibility to disease and pests entering the tree. So always best to catch these things as early as possible. So that's why we're trying to provide this information so that everyone has the knowledge that they need to look at a young tree and know which branches need to go and which branches can stay. So thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Dormant pruning of trees, and specifically fruit trees. Once again, I'm Nick, one of the experts here at Royal City Nursery. Please feel free to reach out to us in the comments, online, calling the store, or even come in to visit us. We're located in Guelph. We've got tons of very knowledgeable staff who are able to give you advice for anything in your garden, pond, boutique. We cover it all. So once again, thank you for listening to us, and have a great day.